Thanks, Aaron. Well, with these severe drought conditions dragging on for such an extended period of time in our area, what is the impact down on the farm where our corn and soybean crops are decidedly thirsty? KIMT News 3's Anthony Monzon spent his day down on the farm with a Kenyan corn grower and joins us. Anthony.
Well, George, it kind of almost feels wrong being back here in a blazer and air conditioning, something I'm sure you can appreciate having driven a tractor or two in your time. I even brought back a little souvenir for you, this corn cob over here. You can catch it. Now, again, there's always so much to learn out there under the open skies, and today was really no different. But unfortunately, the lesson we're learning is that now is really a pivotal time for corn and soy farmers if they're to avoid the worst impacts of this drought.
We've gotten enough rain to get us by, but we really need rain now.
Kenyon's Keith Allen says it's been a frustrating season for corn farmers like himself and his canine companion Loki. While our area's been very blessed compared to others in Minnesota, in Allen's words, dry conditions are starting to catch up with his corn.
The lighter soil and the droughtier areas are starting to be more pronounced, and that's definitely going to take away from the yield on the corn and the soybeans at this point.
So what does drought stress look like? I'm just going to pop on over here to my left and show you some of the knowledge that I just took in. Now what you're looking at here, this is a relatively healthy corn leaf. You can see it's nice and flat, well moisturized, but if I just come down a little bit, this is where you could start noticing some of those impacts. It's leaves like these that are kind of folding in on themselves. You can see them, they're a little more wavy. That is a sign that these crops are trying to pull out all the water they can from the ground and from even the lower parts of their stalk to try to produce ears of corn.
It looks like a bunch of pineapple tops out in a field, and you start seeing more of this, and you can see there's a little bit more drought stress as it's firing its leaves on the lower side, and especially if you look into the next row, you can see the leaves getting fired, and as it's trying to maintain its moisture.
Peeling back yet another layer, take a listen to how the ears themselves are doing.
It did pretty good, but then you see what we call aborted kernels, which are showing up there and up on the tips, and then you can kind of see there's some stress right in certain pockets on the ear.
Surveying the fields with Allen, it became apparent conditions like these produce more than just drought-stressed corn. They produce resiliency, a kernel of wisdom farmers have long kept in their back pocket. Driving through these fields, and we just went over seeing again some ears that are looking like this. What's the emotion behind that? What's the feeling driving through and seeing some of these crops starting to show some more of those signs of being affected by drought?
It's tough. It's not easy. It adds some anxiety and some stress to a person when you look at it. But we farmers are always optimists. We always try to look towards the bright side.
Rain's role in reducing drought stress for farmers and their corn alike hard to understate.
Every little drop of rain we get at this point in time is just going to make those soybeans bigger, which adds to the weight, and we get paid on weight. Same thing with corn. It makes those kernels bigger, and then it adds to the weight of the corn at the end of the year, and we get paid on corn weight.
So how much rain is still needed?
I've heard reports that we're about 12 inches behind where we should be at this point. And so if we could get even anything from 4 to 8 inches would be just a pile of help at this point. But it's out of our hands, and we're just kind of waiting on Mother Nature to treat us right.
And Allen tells me if we don't see enough rain in the coming months and weeks ahead, it could make commodities like feed for livestock and ethanol ultimately more expensive. A USDA report coming out this fall, taking into account harvest totals across the country, is set to play a big role in determining whether that will be the case. George?
Yeah, and I can see what Alan's talking about just with the ear of corn that you tossed me. And to reiterate the points made earlier by Chief Meteorologist Aaron White, an update from the U.S. Drought Monitor today shows that more than 35% of Minnesota is now experiencing severe drought, up from 22% a week ago.